On the morning of September 11, 2001, the United States experienced one of the most shocking and tragic events in modern history. What began as a normal Tuesday morning quickly turned into a day that would change America and the world forever. Millions of people were heading to work, students were attending school, and travelers were boarding flights, completely unaware that history was about to take a devastating turn. The attacks of 9/11 were carried out by 19 terrorists associated with the extremist organization Al-Qaeda. Their plan was carefully organized and aimed at striking some of the most important symbols of American power and influence. 4 commercial passenger airplanes were hijacked shortly after takeoff from different airports in the United States. At 8:46 a.m., the first hijacked plane, American Airlines Flight 11, crashed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center in New York City. Many people initially believed it was a terrible accident. Television stations began broadcasting live images of smoke pouring from the skyscraper. Emergency responders rushed to the scene, and thousands of office workers attempted to evacuate the building. Just 17 minutes later, at 9:03 a.m., the unimaginable happened. United Airlines Flight 175 slammed into the South Tower of the World Trade Center. The second impact was broadcast live on television, leaving no doubt that America was under attack. Panic spread across the nation as people watched in horror. Inside the towers, thousands of workers were trapped. Firefighters, police officers, and emergency medical personnel courageously entered the buildings, climbing stairwells in an effort to rescue as many people as possible. Despite the danger, many first responders continued their mission, knowing the risks they faced. Meanwhile, another hijacked plane, American Airlines Flight 77, was heading toward the nation's capital. At 9:37 a.m., it crashed into the western side of the Pentagon in Arlington. The Pentagon, one of the most secure and important military buildings in the world, was severely damaged. Smoke and fire erupted as military personnel and emergency crews worked to rescue survivors. As Americans watched the news, fear and confusion grew. No one knew how many planes had been hijacked or what other targets might be under threat. Air traffic controllers, government officials, and military leaders scrambled to understand the situation. A fourth aircraft, United Airlines Flight 93, was also hijacked. Passengers on board learned through phone calls that other planes had already been used as weapons. Realizing the danger, they made the courageous decision to fight back against the hijackers. Their actions prevented the plane from reaching its intended target, believed to be either the U.S. Capitol or the White House in Washington. Flight 93 ultimately crashed into a field near Shanksville. The bravery of those passengers is remembered as one of the most inspiring acts of courage in modern history. Back in New York, conditions inside the Twin Towers continued to worsen. Fires burned intensely, and the structural damage from the impacts weakened the buildings. At 9:59 a.m., less than an hour after being struck, the South Tower collapsed. Millions watched in disbelief as the massive skyscraper crumbled into a cloud of dust and debris. The collapse shocked the world. Yet even as rescue efforts continued, another catastrophe occurred. At 10:28 a.m., the North Tower also collapsed. The destruction transformed Lower Manhattan into a scene of devastation. Thick smoke covered the city, streets were filled with debris, and emergency crews searched desperately for survivors. The attacks claimed the lives of nearly 3,000 people from more than 90 countries. Victims included office workers, airline passengers, police officers,